Hola, buenos días, ¿cómo están todos? Feliz 1 de junio aquí en Amigos de SEO Radio, en el show de Ni de Aquí ni de Allá. ¿Cómo están todos? Saludos a los amigos, la familia, los cuates ahí que nos están viendo. Vamos a esperar aquí un momento que se conecten aquí en el Facebook Live, en el YouTube. Ya estamos en vivo. Por favor, háganos el favor de compartirlo, denle un share, denle un like y síganos aquí a través de la estación de radio de Amigos de Seattle, una estación de radio non-profit aquí, la comunidad de South Park. Un placer estar ahí con ustedes. Tengo mi buen amigo aquí, el invitado el día de hoy, José May. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien,
Gracias. Sí, no, qué bueno. Gracias por acompañarnos el día de hoy. Vamos a compartir una historia muy buena que de los años que te he conocido siempre la he querido compartir con todos los que conozco ahí en el mundo de tech, ¿no? Pero en un momento ahorita hablamos de ti. Primero quería dar las gracias, primero aquí a la estación de radio, a la comunidad, pero también dar las gracias por estar aquí en la tierra de Amish, ¿no? Siempre me gusta reconocer y dar gracias en la tierra en donde estamos, los antepasados, las personas que han estado aquí antes que nosotros, que nos han dejado estar donde estamos ahorita, ¿no? Y también quiero reconocer, hoy es el 1 de junio, el primer día del mes del Pride Month. Un saludo muy fuerte a aquellos nuestros amigos de la comunidad LGBTQ, que aquí los apoyamos mucho y somos aliados, y pues sí, va a haber muchas celebraciones muy divertidas aquí en la comunidad, y tal vez luego vamos a traer más información de algunos eventos que están pasando ahí en la comunidad. Pero sí, bienvenido, mi tocayo, José May. ¿Cómo estás?
José. Bien.
Bien, pues bienvenido a tu radio premiere, ¿no?
That's right. First time.
First time on the radio.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Thank you for doing it with me.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. I wanted to invite you, Jose May, and come and share your story. But first, as you know, the show here is called Ni de Aquí ni de Allá. And I like to ask all my guests, what does that mean to you? ¿Qué quiere decir ni de aquí ni de allá?
Well, I think this is something I think about almost every day. Been born in Mexico, moving here at the age of 14. Now as an American citizen, but also as a dual citizen with the Mexican citizenship. I don't think I'll ever feel like I'm 100% an American. And then when I fly down to Mexico and I'm down there for a couple weeks, I feel the difference. Like, yes, I have family here, I have connections here, but I don't live here 24/7.
Se siente, ¿verdad? You can feel it.
Sí, se siente que hay un poco de desconexión.
Como el papá de Selena en esa película, ¿no? Selena's dad. What's his name? Mr. Quintanilla?
In Quintanilla, you got to work twice as hard to be an American and twice as hard to be a Mexican, so people don't double think.
Right? They think we're too American to be Mexican and too Mexican to be American. So we have to work twice as hard.
Exactly.
But that's what makes us twice as not better, but twice as resilient.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, the grid.
Yeah. That immigrant, what's that called? The word I'm looking for. Yeah, just that immigrant experience, that immigrant life.
The immigrant state of mind and the attitude of approaching things.
Yeah, thank you. Well, thank you for sharing what that means to you. Because that I think the reason I chose that name, Ni de Aquí ni de Allá, is I wanted to resonate a lot with our immigrant community. Los que no somos completamente de aquí, pero tampoco somos completamente de allá. Y por eso también el show está en Spanglish, dual language. We're bilingual here, binational, bicultural. We're from all places. We're from everywhere, but we're also from here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, thank you. But tell us a little bit more about you. Where are you from? Where do you come from?
So I was born in the beautiful state of Yucatan in Mexico, all the way. And then I grew up there until 15. About 15 and a half is when
Teenager. You were a teenager when you came over?
Yeah, I came over here with my dad at the age of 15 and a half, about. Yep.
How was that? Like, did they tell you, hey, mijo, we're going to the U.S., get ready, learn English?
Financially we were struggling, and I actually spent like a year working side by side with my dad in front of a sewing machine.
Oh, okay.
12 hours, 7 days a week.
¿Cómo se dice las maquilladoras?
In the house.
Okay.
And trabajando duro todo el día, 7 días a la semana para juntar y venirnos para acá y trabajar.
La historia de muchos, ¿no? Yeah. Our parents worked so hard to bring us here, to give us the life that we have here, right?
Yep.
That struggle. Yeah, no.
Yeah, so he had left Mexico with the ninth grade education. That's what I always tell my kids. I had a ninth grade education, no English skills. Landed here,
Starting all over again,
starting
right?
all over
Our
again.
parents did that.
Yep. And then the first 6 months while you pick up the language, and at least I think within 6 months you start to understand. You're like a mute. You understand, but you just can't talk back to people and have a conversation. And so I think about a year and a half before I was able to be able to like have full conversations with people and be able to communicate again. But it was just like year and a half of just in my own thoughts a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And did you come like in the middle of the school year where you went straight into school, or like
No.
summer, or how did that work
We
out?
were like financially struggling, so I just had to come in and work.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
I just had to get here, and find a job. And so I started working as soon as I could. I think within a couple of months, I found a job as a dishwasher at a Mexican restaurant.
Good work.
Working
That's
nights.
yeah. A lot of people start there, washing dishes.
Just washing dishes. But I always knew it was like at some point I need to go back to school. I always knew I was going to do something, and that involves school.
Yeah,
It's like I know this can be it for me, and I just got to work hard. And what I always tell my kids too, it's you may not always get to do what you want, but no one can keep you from working towards getting to do what you want.
yeah. No, and that's so important. That the fact that you recognized that education was so important, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like what there was a voice in your head that said that. Where did that voice come from? Was it like your dad, your parents, your family?
No, I think it was just the environment. Well, I always like from my dad. I learned, I got to work hard as much as I can. Working in the food industry, I met all their, young, grown adults, and then what I learned from them is working hard. Most of them were working two jobs.
Yeah,
All of them, I want to say, were working two jobs.
right. 2-3 jobs
Yeah.
just to make ends meet.
And provide a good standard of living to their family. And I always knew it was like, I don't know, I don't think I want to do that. And I just had that thought. And then talking to other people, I met a good friend in the food industry who introduced a different mindset.
Okay.
Like he was like, I'm going to school. This is what I want to do. And he was like, whoa, how are you doing this? And he was like, well, I'm doing community college. So I was like, oh, I need to look into that.
Yeah. No, that's good. Having those examples, right? A
Yeah.
lot. Especially our generation, we didn't really have that to look up to see like.
We've been taught to work hard as you can, 7 days a week, which is good. But
Right.
we don't have those role models that tell you, well, that doesn't mean labor, physical, hard labor. It doesn't have to be that. It can be, you can have the mentality, work just as hard doing something else.
For sure, yeah.
Something else that will allow you to be home on the weekends at night, to have
Right.
dinner with your family, make breakfast for the kids on the weekends.
That American dream we all
exactly.
aspire to. No, that's so powerful. But really quickly going back to that mentality, that idea that education was important. I think a lot of us don't have that voice in our head or that role model or that example to look after. So that's why I wanted to invite you to come and share with our audience here your story and motivate people and see that si le echas ganas, anything is possible, right? Lo que faltan son ganas.
Ganas y un plan y paciencia.
Paciencia. Eso sí, mucha gente se da por vencido muy rápido, ¿no?
Sí, también. Y la ayuda de Dios, porque so many things have to go right. Because when you're in that time where you're working towards that goal, anything goes wrong, it's going to set you off, set you back by a lot.
That's true.
So you need
You need to be laser focused.
Laser focused, be ready for what life is going to throw at you, and be ready to work around it.
Yeah. No, and I would like to share also some advice that my dad gave me. He at a young age, I wasn't such a good student, and school really wasn't a priority for me when I was younger. Pero un día me dijo, he was like, "Mijo, it's your choice." He said, "You get to choose what life you make for yourself. You can not prioritize education. You can not focus in school, and then do what all of us do work 2-3 jobs, washing dishes, construction, which is honorable work. It's it's trabajo honrado, but it's hard work.
Exactly.
He said, or you can dedicate time right now and sacrifice having fun, hanging out with friends, to get yourself in a better place so that later you can enjoy the good things in life. But the thing that really stuck with me is he said, el dinero va y viene. There's some days you're going to have a lot of money and there's some days you're going to be broke. He's like, pero lo que se va contigo hasta la siguiente vida es tu educación. Nadie te lo va a quitar.
Exactly.
Nobody can take that from you, your knowledge and your education. Money can come and go. I mean, look at how the economy is right now, right? My stocks portfolio is, I don't even want to talk about that right now. But the knowledge, the education that I've gained over the years, that's so true. My dad said that when I was young, and that stuck with me. That knowledge is power, right? That knowledge that you gain, that you focus on, that you dedicate the time and energy into upskilling yourself, to learning new skills, learning new things, that goes with you forever. That stays with you forever.
Exactly.
Nobody can take that from you.
Yep, exactly.
So tell us about those early days. I know when I first met you, right? What year was it?
At least 10 years.
At least, yeah.
I think I was halfway through the goal.
Okay, yeah,
when
yeah.
we first met. Well, I was at the beginning stages of the goal.
You were working at Bahama Breeze, right? Yeah.
Working Bahama Breeze, driving a 2-color minivan,
I remember that minivan.
300,000 miles.
Yeah.
That I bought from a good friend. It was solid. It got me through school.
It got you from point A to point B, right?
Yeah.
That's what counts.
Yeah, so I was working on the weekends, double shifts, so that I didn't have to work as much on the weekdays. And then those nights, I will go to RTC, Renton Technical College.
Night school, yeah.
Night school. But I knew I wasn't just ready. Ninth grade education, you can't just jump into college classes. But I figured something out just by first, I was like, well, I need to get my mind and I need to get ready for college classes. I don't have a high school diploma, so I started with the GED.
Okay, yeah.
And I got my GED, and then I quickly learned that I can, GED classes are like $30 every quarter compared to
$30?
Yeah,
Just
back then.
Back then, right? I think I should look up how much they are now.
But it's adult studies. It's what it's called, $30 a quarter. It's heavily subsidized. And if you look at an English, 101 class or 99 class, it's going to cost you, at least $500 per quarter. So I was like, I can stay in these classes, pay the $30 a month, just tell the teachers what I need to work. I want to work on, and come in here with my books, and then whenever I have questions, they will answer my questions. So I managed to do that for a couple semesters. And that basically got me to be able to jump into a Math 185 math class.
So you started from the very basics, like basic math, basic English.
Yeah, I started with doing that, but I started out with adult basic studies. I didn't go pay for that. Because if you go talk to the college, what do you call those people?
Counselors?
The counselors.
Yeah,
They will we'll go take the admission test that will tell us where you can place you.
Right.
And I tested so low that they wanted to place me, math.
Oh, so you had to take all those classes?
But I was like, I don't have time and I don't have the money. So what can I do instead? So I was like, okay, I'll stay here in adult basic studies, pay the $30 a month, get the books. Then whenever I have questions, I'll just ask these guys.
You had access to the instructors, right?
Yeah, these people know.
That's so smart, yeah.
So I think I did that for a good 2 semesters, and I was able to retest again and get into it, back into 185, which is what I needed for my AA, my first degree.
Yeah. Okay, that's very cool. Yeah, so you figured out the system. You figured out, like, I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars on taking these classes. I'm going to stay in this $30 a quarter class.
Yeah, and just come in here 5 days a week, a night, and study, and just retest again and jump right into the 185.
Nice.
The Math 185 in English. I think it was 102 or something that I needed to take. Psychology, I need to take psychology, but to take psychology, you got to place pretty high with English.
Yeah. It's like a puzzle, right? You got to build your classes to fit what a certificate or a degree would require,
exactly.
right?
This was an AA degree.
2-year degree, right?
So
At a community college. No, that's so cool. I had a similar experience going to Bellevue College. But tell me a little bit about that initial, like, did somebody guide you on how to apply to these classes, or did you just show up and was like, hey, how do I?
Well, I knew because of my, I came to the U.S. at 15. English wasn't my first language. Here I am at 20. And I've been here 5 years. The English that I picked up was from working in the kitchen. So talking to my now wife and other people. So my writing wasn't great. My understanding was also my English was decent. And I was like, I'm definitely need to look for something where I'm good at, where I can compete with those that were born here. So something that involves English, writing, and all that stuff is not going to be for me.
Yeah.
And I knew I was good at math, and math is universal. So I started looking for programs that were math heavy. Programmers was one of them. Then I run into this other program called networking, which is how all of the devices that we have connect to the internet.
How the internet works, right? All the
basically-
cables, all the wireless, all the signals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do all those protocols work, how to keep them secure,
Very
and
cool.
how do they work at a global, large scale.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. So how long did that take you? 2 years to
2
finish?
years.
Nice.
2 years, and then I was getting close to the end of the program, and I was, it's all about the resume. If you don't have anything on your resume, it's very unlikely somebody's gonna hire you just straight out of college.
So true. So true.
But thankfully, I found this place that was looking for an intern.
Okay. Internships.
An internship. And the job description came in, it was nothing flattering to anybody in my class. It was like, we just need somebody to get in here and, help us package laptops. And everyone in my class was like, I don't, they'll turn it down.
Oh, they saw like it wasn't good enough?
So it wasn't good enough.
okay.
I was like, I don't want to be doing that. rolling cables, packaging laptops. So I went, I was like, I got nothing to lose. I need something. So, and then plus I'm looking at statistics. It's like, if you don't get a job graduating so many months after college, the likelihood of you finding a job starts to go down by this percentage.
You don't say, yeah.
So it's one of, so, at this point I have a wife, I have a kid. It's like, I got to keep moving and I got to start making money. So because of that, I went and applied. And it turned out they wanted that person, but they also, I noticed that the person they had also didn't have all the skills. So I was like, there's room for me too.
So you found an opportunity at the internship you found where it was just packaging laptops.
And the guy that was doing the actual work of imaging the laptops was lacking the skills to do it at a large scale.
Okay. Imaging, that means copying one hard drive to the other, right?
You have the gold image, so you don't have to physically install the operating system, the drivers.
Oh, that's super easy.
All
It's
that
just
stuff.
click one button and it's like a brand new laptop ready to go.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
exactly. You just from the server, just push it out. It's got everything.
Nice,
everything you need.
nice.
And then you make it so that it's flexible enough. So if, depending on the software they need, you can just click, and it's all done.
Yeah, no, you're like super techie advanced. Like you're in charge of building out networks for the city of Redmond now, right?
Yes.
That's so cool.
That was, so fast forward. I do that job. I get a job at a transportation company. I started at the service desk. And
Right.
at the same time, I'm now working on my bachelor's on the same field, working on my bachelor's.
Yeah.
An opportunity opens up. I apply and I show the manager, while I not have the hands-on experience, I'm currently in college for bachelor's on this program, and I have the Cisco certification. So he took a shot at me.
Okay.
And it worked out good for him and for me because he gave me the experience. And I also found the positive because that environment there's a lot of people that had been there too long. They just wanted to do the minimum.
I noticed that tech industry, especially the networking, more the hardware side.
Yeah.
What do they call it? The retirement cliff, right?
Yeah.
They're all aging out.
Yeah.
They're all old school, used to old systems.
They don't want to change it because they don't want to learn anything new. And I saw an opportunity there. I was like, I may not be getting paid as much as these guys are getting paid because they have the experience. I'm going to be working way more harder than these guys are. But I have a goal. My goal is to get as much as hands-on experience that I can put on my resume and show all these projects that I've, cradle to grave, projects. I was like, hands-on experience. I get all this knowledge, and I'll be getting paid as much. And when the time comes, I'll, take that somewhere else.
There you go. Yeah, get that experience, build that resume, right? That's so important,
especially in tech.
Yeah, and I think you found that magic recipe. Find those entry level positions that get your foot in the door, and then from there find the opportunities, right? Don't let the first job description turn you away. Like you said, everybody was looking down at that packaging laptops internship.
Yeah.
You went in and found more opportunities to grow.
By the time I left, I was running that place.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, they were imaging maybe 20 laptops a day. By the time I finished, our production was to 25, 30 laptops an hour.
Oh, wow.
We were actually,
that's scaling up.
Yeah, that place went from turning down contracts to like asking for more contracts. Like one of the coolest thing I got to do for that place was got to image a 12, no, it was a little bit more than 12. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was for a lab that Microsoft, when Server 2012 R2 first came out, and the lab was going to be run at MIT.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I got to image those servers.
You got to build a network for MIT?
For the lab that Microsoft was going to run at MIT.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah, no, that's so really quickly going back. How many years were you working in restaurants? Like you said you started, at the very beginning, washing dishes. How, like, what?
I would say a good solid 10 years.
10 years, a whole decade.
A whole decade.
In the kitchen, which, a lot of our paisanos, that's where we work. That's donde ahí nos encuentran, en la cocina, hustling. Like, it's hard work.
Yeah. I think I remember telling the manager to Palma Breeze, the kitchen managers, it's like, I need to shift my schedule on the weekends. I'll be here on the weeknights. Just need more flexibility there. I'll be here on the weekends all day if you need me to. And he was like, I'm just wasting your time. You're going to be right back here.
He said that to you?
Yeah. It's like, okay. All right.
No le creíste, ¿verdad? No, por eso estás aquí. Por eso estamos aquí. Qué bueno. No, that's so cool. So a whole decade just living that hustle, right?
Yeah, either working 2 jobs. It was either at the beginning working 2 jobs in the restaurant. And then by then, my wife and I got married at the age of 22. So, but before then, we've been together since we were 18. And she also, we both had that plan. Yeah. It was like, you go to school, I'll work 2 jobs. When you finish, I'll go down to 1 job, and then I'll start going to school.
No, that's cool, having that support system at home. That's so needed. A lot of people don't have that, so that's really cool that you had that support to let you pursue this shift in your career. And you said after the 10 years, well, within that, right? Because you were working while going to school.
Yeah. So I think it was I want to say 7 years in the restaurant industry by the time I started going to school.
Okay.
And 3 years after that.
It was about 3 years of your shift between working full-time 2-3 jobs in the restaurant industry to going to night school. Like you told me, you would like park your van outside of the restaurant
to study. Yeah, I will show up early because I have a wife, a kid, so home may not be as quiet. Plus, I will have to drop off my kid, childcare, traffic. So it just made more sense sometimes to just
you made it work.
Leave early, and then if I was working a double shift, I would take it. If there was an opportunity, I would take a break, like a 30-minute break, go outside, study, go back in.
Look at that, esas ganas, that tenacity of like, I have 30 minutes. What am I going to do? I'm going to study.
I'm going to go study for my psychology test or my math test.
Yeah, wow. No, and that's what it takes. It takes that dedication, esas ganas, de saying like, okay, I have 30 minutes here. How can I make the most of those 30 minutes?
Exactly. That
are going to prep me for the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 3 years later, you were working in tech, getting your bachelor's now.
Yeah, well, 3 years later, I was working at a transportation company as a service desk, getting my bachelor's. And then I think right before the 1-year anniversary, I was working for their network team. And did that for about 3 years more at that company. I started as a junior level network guy. By the end, I was deploying. I deployed their next gen firewalls and build the design from the beginning. This is what we have now. Here's the requirements for what we need.
So you did everything from sketching it out, planning it out, measuring.
Coming up with the routing protocol so that it was also resilient, right? Because we're dealing with transportation sites.
Right.
Some sites have the DSL, some sites have broadband, and they have a single service provider. Well, we need backup. When LTE was coming out, so it's like, okay, we can do an LTE backup.
Also, if the internet, like the hardline fails, they can connect to a cellular line?
The cellular, but then, no user interaction. You can't have any user interaction.
So it's all, you made it so it's automatic. There's
all
just
automated.
no downtime.
No downtime.
That's
It's like a minute downtime from the time that the system detects it's down to moving over.
Yeah, in an industry like transportation, you need that, right? Because
Yes.
it needs to be constantly connected.
Exactly. And then how you make it affordable. Because if you
Right.
buy an LTE plan, a minimum is going to cost you $50 times 70 different sites. That's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money.
But I started looking into IoT, Internet of Things. You can provision SIM cards and just have them sit idle for $3 a month.
Oh,
So it was like, these are things that I started picking up while working in Aqui. It was like finance, project management,
Yeah.
IT, and that having that background in the kitchen where you learn all the the times.
you brought that skills from the kitchen to tech. Look at that.
Yeah, and being able to communicate with people with different personalities.
Yeah.
Because at the end you gotta get the job done.
Yeah.
So that was another thing that I learned, this stuff that you're just not going to learn in school. So working in the kitchen for 10 years was actually great.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something I try to tell all the young people that, it doesn't matter when you're starting out your career, it really don't focus too much on having that big important title or having that going for the most, what were you calling it? The prestigious looking job title?
Yeah, with the name recognition, right?
Right. It's about getting the experience, right?
Yeah.
And look, like you can get experience working in the kitchen, working in anything, right? It's just about learning how to work with other people, how to communicate, how to manage a project or manage a team.
Mm-hmm. And then if it's not working out for you, then you may not be able to be, we will need all that financial reward. So if it's not giving you the financial reward, got to come up with a plan.
Yeah,
I got to
yeah.
get the most out of this so that I can get the most experience to build out my resume, so
Right.
that I can go get the financial reward somewhere else, since this place is not going to give it to me.
Yeah.
It's not a total loss in most cases. I mean, unless it's a completely toxic environment, time to go.
Yeah.
But if it's not a toxic environment, you're just not getting the financial reward. They already trust you. No one's going to give you the keys to a data center straight out of school. There's millions and millions of dollars worth of equipment. So no one's just going to give you keys to the data center straight out of school. So if you already have a place that trusts you with those keys, then
Take advantage of that, right?
take
Learn as
advantage.
much as you can.
as much as you can.
Yeah.
So
No,
that
that-
you can go somewhere else and get that financial reward.
Yeah, no, and talking about the financial reward, that's also a big component on why I think education is important, right? Why? Because, looking at it financially, you're working in, like I said, kitchen industry, kitchen work, it's honorable work, but unfortunately it doesn't pay that well.
No. Yeah.
That's the very unfortunate thing that, we have some amazing people working with.
Yeah, it's hard work. It's a lot of dedication. You can get people sick if you don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it doesn't pay. The financial reward is not there for the many.
Yeah.
It's there for the few, but not the many. And it was time to, I knew it wasn't the future for me.
Yeah. So you said, I need to change something. I need to do something. So for 3 years, also that's more of an investment. You invested time and money,
Money.
right? Because
Yeah,
it costs money, especially now. I don't know what college classes cost now, but I hear they're expensive.
Yeah, but like I said, there's ways around it. You can, start with community college. And my kids are now, my daughter's 16, my son is 13, and I tell them if you want to, you can go for the big name college.
Right.
It's going to cost you a lot.
It is. No, I went to community college the first few years, and it saved me a ton of money before I went to a traditional four-year university. But yeah, it's not for everybody, but I think
If you get somebody is willing, you get grants and scholarships. Hey, great.
scholarships. That's one thing nobody really told me about scholarships when I started college. it wasn't until my last few years that I started realizing I was eligible for scholarships, even as an undocumented student.
Oh, wow.
I thought like, oh yeah, no, I don't have access to any of that. FAFSA, what is that? I can't fill that out. But it wasn't until the last few years that I found out about private scholarships. Once I started applying to those, I was like, you mean you want to pay me to go to school? That changed my world.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, our background, we, being Hispanic, we got to help our families. So a 40-year college degree where I'm just going to focus on that, it's not an option for me. So the soon as I can get something that is going to bump up my pay so that I can help out the family more, then that's the path to go. Is like get the associates, start making a little bit of money, have more flexibility, then start working on the bachelor's. Well, I already have something.
Yeah, no, that's a smart path. Yeah, what's the quickest route to your goal, right? When I remember when I first applied to college, I thought that it was this really complex process, and you had to like interview several times, and it was like 4 years at least, and I thought it was so more complex than what it actually was. And then I just walked up to community college and said, "Hey, how do you apply?" They're like, "Fill out this piece of paper." I
gotta say, I think community college is probably if you don't have anybody in your family that's gone to college, you don't have that role model. I think community college, if you're first generation, it's probably the best place to start because they're smaller. They have a lot more time for you.
Smaller class sizes, right?
Smaller class sizes, the registration, I feel like they have a lot more time to spend with somebody that just walks up the window.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I literally just walked up to the window and said, "Hey," I was asking questions. "How do you apply?" They had me fill out a piece of paper, and the next thing I knew, I was a college student.
Yeah.
It like blew my mind. I was like, "That easy?"
Yeah. And I was like, how do I go from this? And then once I started with adult basic studies, and once you get into that world, those teachers will start giving you resources. It's like, hey, I see potential in you. You should really go look at taking an NA and associates, and we'll talk to this counselor.
Yeah.
They'll put you in the right path.
That's so important. I think the first year I was in college, I just went to class and then went home. Went to class. I didn't take advantage of any of the counselors, study sessions, like tutors that they have, their programs. It wasn't until like year 2 and 3 that I started realizing like, wait, there's a lot more to college than just going to class. I was still in the high school mentality. I'm going to go, class, show up, and then go home. But it's a whole world, right? It's a whole different world over there.
Yeah, if you have the time, definitely take advantage of it.
For sure, yeah. There's so much support. Colleges have people that their job is to help you as a student, to help you apply to financial aid, find scholarships, find internships, help you plan out your career, help you plan out your classes. Unfortunately for me, and I think a lot of Latino, Latinx, Latinx students, we have bad experiences in school, either for multiple reasons. So at least I came with that mindset that like, oh yeah, nobody in school is trying to help me. But it was the complete opposite when I actually ended up in college.
Yeah, I mean, you still run from time to time with people. That
happens everywhere.
Yeah, and it's small interactions that if you really let it get to you, it's going to take you down. But don't even bother. Don't even waste your time.
Yeah.
I remember going to the testing center, now a systems engineer with a bachelor's degree, multiple IT certifications, and I walk up to the testing center at RTC, and the lady that's managing the place, she just looks at me and she's like, "Oh, you're here for the GED test?"
Those assumptions. Yeah, can't get away from them sometimes.
It's like, no, I'm here for the certification exam. Okay. It was an awkward after that, but it was like,
it reminds me of a story when I was in community college. Me and another friend from Mexico also, we went to the library for a meeting. We walk in and the librarian comes out. They're like, "Oh, great, the janitors are here. You're here to pick up these boxes?" The look on our faces were like, "Excuse us, we're students." Unfortunately that happens a lot. Pero no hay que dejar que nos what am I trying to say, to demotivate us, right? Al contrario, que nos den más ganas.
Exacto. That's la energía.
Yeah, we got to prove ourselves, prove our family, prove it to our families, that we can do this. Sí se puede. Porque sí, we have some good examples here. We have a lot of great examples out there in the community. And that's why, sharing your story is so important also for people to know that there are different pathways. It's not like when I was in high school thinking like, oh, college is this whole big complex thing where they interview your families. You have to pay a lot of money. Like there's different pathways.
There's different pathways to get there.
Yeah,
I mean, at the end, you can't go wrong with an education. Something that you really want to do. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. And you found something that you're passionate about, right? Computer networking.
Yeah, I like dealing with. It's one of the few fields, I would say, the few IT fields where you actually get to be hands-on from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, hands-on in the data center and sometimes even outside on the street.
Right. Yeah. You were telling me you were installing some connection at a fire station for firefighters.
So right now, my current role at the city is a systems engineer, but mostly focus on the network.
Engineer.
Yeah, mostly focus on the network. So, and because it's the city there are I guess a lot smaller cities they hand off the fire and police operations to the county.
Right.
But the city of Redmond's big enough that we manage outside of 911. That's still the county, but we still manage and provide all the network, all the services to police department and the fire department. And because I'm part of the network, I manage the network, and I work closely with the fiber, the traffic teams who physically lay the fiber and run the fiber. And then I logically manage the fiber, and sometimes that requires me to be out on the field, opening the manhole and working with those guys so that we get we need to relocate fiber, add another path.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not the one in there with the fiber, but
you're planning it. You're managing the project.
Managing the project.
Okay, that's cool. You're not like stuck behind a computer all day, right?
Most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, yes. But there are that 10%.
That's cool. You get to go outside and enjoy the fresh air.
Yeah. Like tomorrow, for example, fire station, one of the stations is getting retrofitted for earthquake. That project's going to start in the next few days.
Nice.
So tomorrow I'll be out there. Going to be temporarily relocated to trailers.
Okay.
Living quarters plus an office trailer.
Yeah.
So I got to take the network and move it over to those trailers so they can still work.
Yeah, and I know governments spend a lot of time and resources planning and preparing for almost every possible scenario, right? Earthquakes, fire.
We work closely with CISA, Homeland Security.
Okay.
We get daily emails, plus our security manager is always working with them to get the latest threats and
very cool.
We mitigate those threats.
Yeah. So you're in charge of basically making sure people's computers have access to the connection to the internet, right?
Secure.
Yeah, secure. Yeah.
Secure,
I was gonna say
private connections.
You make sure my Facebook works.
If you sit at City Hall, police, one of the police department, one of the fire stations, yes.
Okay.
In a secure manner for the police, for PD, when they're out in the field, their laptops that they have.
All right, they have to be remote, right? They have to have wireless connection.
So that their ability to be able to connect back to us so they can run those blades.
Yeah.
And it also has to be redundant. It has to be resilient. So how do we deliver that? And so that if we lose a service provider, they're not down, dead in the water in the middle of the street trying to write a ticket. We not only have to deploy and build systems that meet the needs, but they also have to be resilient. Redundant.
Yeah. You know what? I could nerd about this all day, but I don't want to scare people away, and maybe some people are gonna be like boring. No, but I could nerd about this all day. But I think what I really want to talk about and get at is talk about what has been your biggest challenge getting to where you're at today. You think?
I would say one is mental. Yes, one is mental because, you come from such a humble beginnings that when you look at these job descriptions, it can be, what's the word when you?
Imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome, but it could be, it's almost, it gives you
like
a little
that
bit
feeling like, am I good enough for that?
Am I good enough for that job?
For that?
Yeah, like for that job.
Okay.
And then it's having those friends. Like I have a really good friend of mine. You know him, Ernesto.
Yeah.
send me the link for this job, and he's like, hey, you can do this. I was like, looking at the description, yeah, it should be.
Yeah, no, that's important, having that support system,
Yeah,
ese
other people.
apoyo.
Yeah, ese apoyo de otra gente que cree en ti también. Y como que te da más, y te apoya, y cuando no quieres, como que te da ese empujoncito que necesitas.
That's what we all need, and like I'm so glad you were a part of the Latinos in Tech group, right? The one we started back in the day when I was working at the nonprofit Latino Community Fund. Yeah, that's exactly what that space was envisioned to be, that support system, that esa conexión con otros miembros de la comunidad that are in tech, interested in tech, curious about tech, pero principalmente para tener ese apoyo, darnos ese empuje.
Ese empujoncito cuando dices, a lo mejor no.
Right.
Pero sí, no, I'm glad I did. I'm glad and I was definitely ready for that.
Well, congratulations. No, I'm so proud of you. Having met you when you were starting out, and now seeing you do all the amazing stuff you do there for the City of Redmond. Like, it's an inspiration to me, but I know it's an inspiration to a lot of people here that are hearing your story. And so yeah, you shared your biggest challenge, and I think that is a big one. That doesn't matter what industry, we all face that.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important to have that support system. But now tell me, what's one of your favorite things about now being in this role in tech, being in this world? What is one of your favorite things?
The continuous learning.
Yeah.
You get exposed to so many things, you quickly learn that you don't know something, so you have to go research it I'm always constantly being challenged to deliver something. A new challenge comes up, and I'm challenged to deliver it at something that meets up to the challenge.
Okay, so you're constantly learning, learning. That's so cool. Yeah, that sounds like a fun job.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that definitely sounds like a great career.
Good family, balance. Like, there are days where I have to work late, but not that many. So I do my 8 to 7 to 8 to 5, 8 to 4.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, every once in a while.
Get to work from home sometimes?
Mostly, yeah.
Nice.
I get to work from home most of the time.
That's the goal right there sometimes.
Yeah, so I think I would say that would be another thing that I greatly enjoy.
So it was worth it. Todo ese sacrificio was worth it, you're telling me.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
All the hard work is definitely paying off. And I'm continually learning because I'm currently on my second semester of my master's degree.
No, so cool. Now tell me, I know in tech, a lot of people that I meet that work in tech, a lot of good friends, a lot of colleagues, sometimes tell me I'm the only person of color. I'm the only Latino in my entire office, in my entire company sometimes. It happens still. How is it over at City of Redmond? How's the diversity looking like?
Up until, I want to say 3 months ago, I was the only Latino in my entire department of 33. For a while, I was one of 2 Latinos in City Hall.
In the entire City of Redmond government?
City Hall.
Oh, City Hall, the building.
The building,
Got
yeah.
it.
And I think there were a couple Latinos at the public works department, but outside of that, it was just me.
You would see each other in the hallway, do the nod.
Yeah, exactly. And then another, person of color. It was maybe a couple, maybe one other African American that we will also, see each other.
Give the nod.
That's
how you do.
And because of that, when I had experiences when I try to go into the police department because I have full access.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been questioned. I was questioned a couple times.
Yeah.
And one of the sergeants wanted to score me, and it's like, no, like, you don't need to score me. I have more access than you do. And he had to call, his superior, and they're like, yeah, that's Jose. Let him, leave him alone.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, but now I think it's starting to be a little bit more.
Okay. No, that's good. But
another Latino.
Yeah, but unfortunately, we still see that across the tech industry, right? The lack of diversity, the lack of access that we've had. Your story is so cool because you figured it out. You found that entry point. Starting packaging laptops.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think that will be another challenge for our communities, finding those connections because there aren't that many. So you might be the first guy in the at that job, at that office.
Yeah.
So you don't have someone there to have that, that networking connection at the place where they can facilitate things for you.
Right? Yeah. A lot of times people say it's not about what you know, it's about who you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of places, a lot of people get jobs because of who they know, their uncle, their relative, their friend. But yeah, that's the unfortunate reality that we live in. But that's why I think spaces like Latinos in Tech are so important. Stories like you being shared through channels like this are important, just to show examples of how somebody was able to accomplish that, but also motivate each other and be here for each other, support each other, ask guidance. Like I'm sure you tell me, like, do you mentor anybody? Do you have your own network? You mentioned Ernesto, like, who's been your support system and who's been that nudge to
Well, I
guide
think
you.
at school I know at work right now we have a guy who's in his 20s who just started, and yeah, he's also of color, and we've been working together. Like whenever I can, bring him along.
Nice.
I was like, let's go on a field trip, and I show him hands-on things. And right now he's still early days of his career. He's working at the service desk, and I just keep telling him, it's good that you're doing this. You're going on year 2. You got to start thinking. You've been exposed to a lot.
So you're guiding him. You're kind of telling
Yeah.
him which path to take.
It's like, now's the time to start thinking what do you want to focus on so that you start working towards that. And
Nice.
it doesn't have to be like me, network. Maybe you want to be more into software, more into security. So you can, if that's, because you're at the service desk, you're exposed to all the fields of IT. So you can figure out what you like and start working towards that.
Yeah. So my recommendation, my advice to everybody here listening to us is, if you're like my tocayo here, Jose, find somebody to mentor, find somebody to help, or if you yourself are starting out, find somebody to be that support system for you. Find a friend, a colleague, a family member, or look up Latinos in Tech on Facebook. That group is still active. We're gonna have Rebecca Rocha coming up next week. She's gonna share some cool, exciting things. Some exciting. Sorry about the phone. Somebody forgot to turn off their ringtone. But yeah, no, I think Latinos in Tech has been such a cool space. At least for me, I've gotten to meet so many amazing leaders that are in tech. And it's become that support system, that space where friendships have been formed, support systems have been created to be able to support each other in this way, give each other that nudge that it is possible,
Yeah. And then, quickly, just to follow up with that, having those connections.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found as a workaround for that is when the job is posted, especially when the job is posted, sometimes you can go in LinkedIn and try to figure out who the hiring manager is.
Okay.
And if you don't have that connection, I've been a very respectful manager. Just be like, hey, I know you're hiring for this person. I'm confident that I might be who you're looking for. If you have a few minutes, just look at my resume.
Okay. LinkedIn. So you recommend? I'm not big on LinkedIn yet. I should. I keep on telling
I think
myself.
especially for our community where we don't have those connections, I would say go big on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta step up my LinkedIn game because it is not. I know I left my previous job in March. I barely updated my LinkedIn about that. So I think some people still think I still work in my old job in government in the city of Seattle. But no, it's updated now. It's up to date, but it still needs work. So I'm sorry if you're looking at my LinkedIn and you're like, no, this is whack. It is. I admit it. but yeah, no, that's some good advice. I think LinkedIn is such a good tool for networking, finding people, finding career opportunities. Like, yeah, I've heard so many good friends who have recommended that to me. Yeah. I just unfortunately haven't dedicated the time because I don't know. I haven't. No le he echado las ganas, pero necesito echarle. I need to put some time into that.
Yeah, especially for our community because sometimes we don't have that direct relationship with another working professional.
Yeah.
So LinkedIn opens the door for those relationships.
Right on. No, that's so cool. Well, Jose Mai, thank you so much for joining us today here. Thank you to all our listeners here. Any last parting words here to our audience before we say goodbye?
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, it was an honor. Like I said, your story has been very inspirational, not just to me, but to a lot of people I know, a lot of people that we know here in the community. And that's what we want to bring more of these inspirational stories, show examples of cómo cómo la comunidad podemos lograr y ser exitosos, ¿no? Cómo lograr cumplir nuestras metas y qué nos lleva a triunfar, a vivir, tener una buena vida aquí en los Estados Unidos, ¿no?
Exacto.
Aunque no nos sentamos completamente de aquí ni de allá, pero aquí estamos y estamos sobreviviendo.
Exacto, sacar el más jugo.
Yeah.
Lo
De la
más
vida,
de la vida.
el más jugo de la vida. Eso,
Sí.
de eso se trata, ya. Y aquí mi buen amigo, luego nos vemos ahí en el partido, también
los
aquí
Sounders.
de los Sounders, go Sounders.
Go Sounders.
Well, yeah, but no, muchas gracias a todos. Thank you for everybody for following us today here at Ni de aquí ni de allá aquí en la estación de radio Amigos de Seattle, Non-Profit Radio, la estación de radio de la comunidad de South Park. Denos un like, un follow ahí en el Facebook, en el YouTube. Estamos en vivo el día de hoy. Si tienen preguntas, comentarios aquí en el video, por favor pónganlo en vivo. Si no, después lo pueden poner y podemos contestar. Tal vez después, maybe later, we can do some Q&A with the audience. We want to invite more people to interact with us. I know we're trying out the live stream. We're live on the radio. If you get a chance to listen to us on the radio, we're on adsradio.org. adsradio.org. You can listen to us live on the radio. So if you're in your car, if you're taking a walk, check us out. Or if you're getting a chance to see us live, you can see us on Facebook and YouTube. If not, check out the recording later. We'll see you there. Pero José May, un placer. Muchas gracias. A todos ustedes, muchas gracias por seguirnos el día de hoy. Happy Pride Month. And next week, we have coming up Rebecca Rocha, who's going to come and share a little bit more. She's also a member of Latinos in Tech, one of the early founding members with us, and is going to come and help announce some exciting events coming up in the community. This Saturday, we're going to be posting it on a Facebook, but stay tuned. There's going to be an event. I believe a market, un mercadito, va a pasar ahí en Tacoma. I'm trying to check out the Des Moines Marina Farmers Market. I think it's going to open up for the first time this year. They're going to have like live music, food, Des Moines Marina this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Maybe I'll catch some of you there. And next week we'll have some more exciting announcements for you. Muchas gracias a todos. Se me cuidan.
Hasta luego.